News 6 Extra. I am Chris. Mike in a weird place today. Alrighty. It is Friday, October the 3rd. Penny is here. Hi, Penny.
Hi.
Look how happy she is to be here. Look at that. Like a ray of sunshine joining our wonderful broadcast. How's it going? Last time we talked, you were headed to Massachusetts to go see My Chemical Romance. How was that?
It was incredible. I had a very fun time. I, however, did not fight any lobsters, so I do have some regrets from the trip, but next time will be bigger and better.
There you go. Listen, that's all we can ever ask is to improve and to continue to grow and to one day settle the score with the crustaceans.
I agree. Wise words.
Yes, thank you. You should write them in the sky in gossamer teardrops. Death to the crustaceans. They can regrow appendages, which I always find fascinating. Like if you rip off like a part of like a crustacean, they just grow it back.
That's very scary.
Very interesting. Slight deviation here. The horseshoe crabs. Have you ever seen those things?
Yes, I have, actually.
Their blood is blue. Have you ever seen that?
I've never seen their blood, no. But maybe if ever I fought one, I would.
Yes, well, don't, because we need them. They take them, they get them, and they harvest them, and they drain just a little bit of their blood. Not a lot. They don't kill them. They take a little bit of it because it's like a key ingredient in pharmaceutical research.
Oh.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day here on News 6 Extra.
You should learn something new every day, and this was not even in the copy that you wrote for me.
No, it was not.
This was just right up here in the old noggin.
Off the dome. Crab
Yes,
facts.
there you go. Crab facts, horseshoe crab facts. All righty. So in the copy you've written for me, it says it's been a dreary day so far. It has. It was raining this morning, but I'm looking out the windows here off of JYP, and it seems pretty sunny. Not too bad.
I wrote that a little bit ago, and it still was dreary.
I know. Well, listen, I have your forecast. It's going to be cold and gray, and it's going to last for the rest of your life.
Oh, thanks.
That's how I lure you in with crab facts, and then get you. It's like toothpaste. Now here's some orange juice. All right, Candace Campos. Penny's regretting being on the show. Candace Campos has our official forecast. Candace, take it away.
About the weekend as well. I'm Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. Let's talk about this tropical disturbance that once again will be crisscrossing the state into the weekend and early next week. As it does so, it will continue to stream in plenty of tropical moisture. It's also the same area that the National Hurricane Center is closely monitoring for some gradual potential tropical development over the next couple of days, still showing only about a 10% chance as it tries to make its way over towards the Gulf there. As we look here to clouds and rain futurecast, just like what we dealt with on Thursday, do expect the same thing today, tomorrow, and into Sunday, as we are going to continue to track these fast-moving showers that will be moving in from the open waters there. You can see a couple of those heavier downpours racking up a lot of rain in a short amount of time. And then on Saturday, same setup by Saturday afternoon and into the evening hours. We will continue to see those scattered showers. Sunday looking to be as soggy, so does Monday. So because of all of this rain we're anticipating, especially along our coastline, once again, we have that flood watch in effect for Volusia and Brevard County at least until Sunday morning. Could get extended depending on how long this moisture kind of lingers. But because we have that rain cooled air, we have that breeze in place, temperatures throughout the afternoon, both today and tomorrow, should be staying in those low 80s. Now the winds, they're going to continue to gust upwards of about 20 to 25 miles per hour. Could have a couple of locations up to about 30 to 35. If that becomes a little more widespread, wind advisories could be issued for the weekend. Marine hazards, with all these hazards in place, beach and boating conditions, not ideal. We have choppy seas, small craft advisory. We have a high surf advisory as well. So really a lot of issues out there along kind of our marine locations. Now that mid-level moisture map is going to show that there's going to be a spin trying to happen over Florida this weekend. And as that low continues to pull away, it looks like it could start dragging in a little bit of drier air kind of on the backside of it by the middle of next week. So in the meantime, we still could be racking up a lot of rain. Obviously, the highest amount of rain will be right along the coastline, but as far inland as about I-4, we could pick up an additional 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. As we get results here, the full 7-day forecast, of course, things are going to stay unsettled. Now, it's not going to be a washout of a weekend, but again, those fast-moving hit-or-miss downpours certainly will be the story throughout the next 3 to 4 days.
Thank you, Candace. Of course, we're keeping an eye on a couple major stories today during this noon hour. One of them, obviously, the government shutdown, with the government having now been shut down going into a second full day. Yesterday, the Senate was adjourned for Yom Kippur. The House has been adjourned for several weeks now. Senators could be taking up a measure today for another 7-week CR. It's doubtful that it will see any traction, but we'll definitely keep an eye on D.C. and see if this shutdown comes to an end. The other thing we're keeping an eye on is a Diddy verdict. Obviously, Sean Diddy Combs is in court today waiting to find out if he will be sent to prison, and if so, for how long. Several different estimates say he could face anywhere between 7 to 10 years. Of course, we'll have to wait and see if a verdict comes down. If it does, we'll bring it to you both on air and online as soon as that happens. Now, closer to home, fireworks in Palm Bay. This has been a simmering story for several days, with a council member saying several things online about Indian Americans. And some of them have drawn the ire of not just Republicans in the greater Brevard County area, but other people across the area. And in addition, his fellow council members. And there was originally supposed to be a council meeting earlier this week. They couldn't get a quorum, but on Thursday night, they finally got a quorum, and they went in front of the voters and in front of each other to discuss what had been said and what could be done. Mark Lehman has the story.
People made their voices heard with a big turnout Thursday night. Nearly 80 spoke out, with many of them being of Indian descent. A handful supported Langevin, saying he's exercising his free speech, but the vast majority are rejecting the councilman's remarks and asking for his removal.
Let's get rid of this cancer.
Palm Bay residents crowding the council chambers last night to direct comments towards Councilman Chandler Langevin.
Maybe you should stop carrying around your hate, your racism, and your white supremacy.
The council taking up a vote to ask Governor DeSantis to suspend the councilman over his comments disparaging Indian American immigrants. It was early this week when Langevin posted a message on social media saying there is not a single Indian that cares about the United States. They are here to exploit us financially.
Brother, that comment, it hurts my soul.
Mayor Rob Medina, along with the rest of the council, rejecting the comments. Langevin seeming to walk back some of the remarks in a post last night, saying his words were directed at illegal immigrants. But during the meeting, he was also defiant.
Quite frankly, as long as I'm not breaking the law, I'll say whatever I damn well please.
In the end, the council approved the measure.
Motion passes 4-1.
Along with some parting words from the mayor.
I hope that the governor deports you out of these chambers and out of that door.
Langevin was the single vote against the measure last night. The city attorney will now draft a letter to the governor asking him to remove the councilman. The council will also request State Senator Debbie Mayfield file a complaint to formally censure Langevin. Mark Lehman, News 6.
We'll have to wait and see what happens on that. As different cities have different rules in place for whether or not a council can remove one of its members. I haven't dug into Palm Bay exactly to see what exactly theirs is, but I would assume the fact that they haven't asked the governor to do this, they don't have the authority to remove on their own. Okay, well, one of the other stories we've been keeping an eye on for the last several weeks has been the death out at Epic Universe, and specifically both the state investigation as well as the local investigation, as well as the park doing its own internal review of what's happening. But all of this raises a question about exactly who investigates where and who has oversight where. A News 6 investigator, Mike DeForce, dug into the laws and the rules and how they apply differently depending on which park you're at.
Just calm down, just don't move. In 2018, this Daytona Beach roller coaster derailed, injuring 6 passengers. Within hours, state amusement ride inspectors were on scene trying to figure out what happened. Engineers later prepared this detailed report, which was released to the public, that concluded the coaster derailment was caused by excessive speed. 4 years later, state ride inspectors descended on International Drive after Tyree Sampson slipped out of his seat on the Orlando Freefall and plunged to his death. Engineers hired by the state later produced this public report that concluded the safety harness had been improperly modified. In both incidents, which occurred at small amusement parks, Florida's Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services was responsible for inspecting the rides and investigating mishaps.
We have to know what happened.
Attorneys representing the family of Kevin Zavala are demanding answers about why the 32-year-old died from multiple blunt impact injuries after riding Universal's Stardust Racers roller coaster. But it's unclear what information, if any, the state of Florida will uncover. Unlike small amusement parks, rides at Universal, Disney, SeaWorld, and Legoland are exempt from state inspections. Under Florida law, permanent facilities that employ at least 1,000 people and have full-time in-house safety inspectors are not subject to state oversight. Those large theme parks are only required to notify the state about serious injuries and fatalities.
You know, this monorail is exempt. They exempted the monorail from any safety standards or inspections.
2 years ago, while Governor Ron DeSantis was waging a political battle with Disney, he held this news conference. State Agriculture Commissioner Wilton Simpson, whose agency regulates amusement rides, suggested large theme parks should no longer be exempt.
Where a person is injured should not determine how the state responds. Everyone should have to play by the same rules.
That same week, State Representative Lawrence McClure filed legislation that would have given the state more oversight of large theme parks like Universal. But it was withdrawn days later, records show, and never refiled. Instead, lawmakers passed a separate bill that only regulated Walt Disney World's monorail system. On the day after Kevin Zavala's death, Florida's Agriculture Commissioner announced that one of his investigators was here at Epic Universe. But there is no indication that state investigator is actually investigating anything. Instead, the commissioner's office tells me Universal voluntarily invited the agency here merely to observe. Reporting at Epic Universe, Mike DeForest, News 6.
And of course, you can count on Mike to continue to dig into this story as it develops. A lot of unanswered questions that we will finally get answers to in the coming days and weeks. You saw in that story Governor Ron DeSantis, and in Florida we have term limits for the governor. He gets to serve two terms, 2 4-year terms. Ron DeSantis is getting to the end of his term, and so in just a couple of years, in 2026, we are going to have a wide open gubernatorial race here in the state of Florida. No incumbent. So there's a lot of people on both sides of the aisle starting to jockey for position, especially on the Republican side. Now, you go back and you look, the last time Florida voted for a Democrat for governor was Lawton Chiles, and that was in the 90s. Florida hasn't voted for a Democrat for governor since then. So the Republican race for the primary, which will be in August of next year, is, well, to use a phrase that gets worn out, heating up. One of the people that has thrown their hat into the ring is former Palm Coast Representative Paul Renner, who was the Speaker of the House for 2 years before also hitting term limits. He has entered the race. Now, when he was in the Florida legislature and as Speaker, he was an unwavering supporter of Ron DeSantis, pushing through almost everything that DeSantis wanted as far as legislation goes, even going as far as to go to Iowa to campaign for Ron DeSantis when he ran for president. So he's running. And you would assume that maybe Ron DeSantis would want to return the favor and say, you know, Paul Renner was such a good friend to me when I was trying to get my legislation across, when I was trying to run for president. I'll return the favor. Well, as Justin Warmoth found out when he sat down with Paul Renner, the feeling, I guess, between DeSantis and Paul Renner is only going in one direction. Here's his story.
As Speaker of the Florida House, Central Florida Representative Paul Renner carried just about every part of Governor DeSantis' agenda across the finish line. Now, as Renner makes his bid for governor, the governor he once served is not backing his campaign.
I'm not supporting Paul Renner. You know, I think it was an ill-advised decision to enter the race.
As someone who's been an ally of the governor's, how did that make you feel?
Well, it's not about feelings. Look, I mean, you can't separate the governor's legacy from mine as Speaker, certainly from the legislative standpoint, and eventually I'm confident he'll support us either before or after the nomination.
Do you know what was behind that at all? Is it
you'd have to ask him.
Yeah. I mean, you probably have thoughts. I mean, Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins is also rumored to run and join into this primary. Do you think that has something to do with it?
It could well, but you'd have to ask the governor. And I'm really focused on really telling voters about this background of leadership, getting results. And if you're going to fix tomorrow's problems, which is what this election will ultimately be about, you want somebody who's helped fix yesterday's problems and taken on challenges that people said couldn't be solved, and we've solved them.
As for those challenges, the state's unaffordability is a central focus of Renner's campaign. And like the governor, he wants to see property tax reform and possibly eliminate the tax.
We have places here in Florida that have had astronomical increases in property tax, well beyond, and this is the point really, is beyond people's income to keep up. Government should never grow faster than our income to pay for it.
Renner was also instrumental in passing the legislation that expanded school choice. Critics of the voucher program say that's led to a drop in enrollment and, in turn, a drop in funding for public schools. But Renner says that's a false narrative.
So in my home county of Flagler, they said, well, there's 2,000 students that have disappeared. We ran the numbers. 128 of those were using the scholarship. So it's really other things. Maybe they're homeschooling. Maybe they've moved out. Maybe they've chosen other paths. But I don't see that, and for taxpayers, every student pays on average, taxpayers pay on average about 15 grand per student. The scholarship's only 8 grand. So literally if a student is leaving a public school of those 128 and going over to a private school, there's a huge tax savings.
Now, Renner is also on board with the state's immigration policy and the push to drop vaccine mandates for kids, making it clear he plans to run the state similar to Governor DeSantis, even though DeSantis isn't backing him. Justin Wormuth, News 6.
Great interview there from Justin with Paul Renner. Man, I've interviewed several times. Paul Renner's, he's a very smart individual, very capable individual. But I think, as you heard Renner say there, he imagines DeSantis will get behind him after the primary. And there used to be a time, there was a time back in the day when you had what they used to call Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, which is thou shalt not attack Republicans in the primary. And this is when, people like the governors and presidents would stay out of primary races within their own party and then wait and endorse once the voters had spoken. At this day and age, though, I think that's gone by the wayside. Everyone wants to be endorsed as early as possible, and even if that means stepping on a couple of toes within your own tent. Oh, good times. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, there's a new arch in Daytona Beach. Well, it's an existing arch that's got fixed, but we'll take you out there and show you the magnificence of the arch. And at the same time, we'll talk about a rather obscure pop star who dropped some sort of record or some sort of bone roll this week for us all to listen to. That's coming up next. Stay with us.
I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan, looking for something fun to do this weekend while October kicks off. Spooky fun, pumpkin patches, and family events. Scattered downpours will be possible, but don't let that stop the fun. First up, check out Harvest Fields Corn Maze and Hayride in DeLand, Saturday from 10 a.m. through 6 p.m. $15 for unlimited access to the corn maze, hayride, and more. Plus, Fields of Fright returns October 10th through the 25th, Fridays and Saturdays only. Paw Pals for Life 5K at Rock Springs Run State Reserve in Sorrento is happening on Saturday at 8:30 a.m. This in-person run supports pets and their humans, a pawsome event celebrating love, loyalty, and companionship. Head to Ocala for the 7th annual Marion County Parks and Rec Carnival. Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. Free entry. Youth activity armbands just $5 or bring in 5 non-perishables. Enjoy hay rides, a petting zoo, haunted stalls, games, inflatables, and more. Plus, Orlando Museum of Art Family Day is Saturday from 11 a.m. through 2 p.m. Free for all ages. Enjoy storytelling, strolls, keepsake photos, Italian ice, and more. It's a great indoor event to beat the rain. Oktoberfest at the German American Society of Central Florida in Castleberry will be happening on Saturday from noon to 9 p.m. Make sure you have an umbrella. There will be German beer, food, flag parade, live music, and more. Looking for something spooky to do with the kids? Boo at the Zoo at Brevard County kicks off this weekend, every weekend in October from 10 a.m. through 3 p.m. Now, those are your 6 things to do, and if you have a fun event happening in your town this weekend, send it my way. I've been getting so many cool events from viewers like you. Just head over to clickorlando.com or a new 6 app. Just click Contact Us.
Castleberry Oktoberfest looks like it'd be a good time. See what the weather does. All right, speaking of good time, a good time was had by all in Volusia County earlier today. Daytona Beach cut the ribbon on a historic landmark that got a little TLC. Angie Casada has this story.
The Main Street Arch has stood as a symbol of Daytona Beach for decades, and today city leaders say its restoration marks a big step in preserving history, but also securing the future.
2, 3. Yay!
The arch was built during President Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal in 1936, but years of wear and tear left it cracking and deteriorating. This $934,000 project stabilized the concrete and preserved its original coquina stone.
This is the gateway to our community, and this is the most historic entryway to our beach. We realize that this beach has taken a battering, as well as our boardwalk. But we're working hard, and we're looking for investors to come in and do the things that need to be done to take it to the next level.
Mayor Henry also telling us the city's in search of more entertainment to bring to the area. Commissioner Matt Reinhardt says the project is about preservation, not replacement.
When you think Volusia County, you think Daytona Beach. The fact that we're here to revitalize this area, it's not just a statue of sorts, it's a staple to the entrance of the beach.
For residents who have made memories here for years, the moment was personal. What does this mean to you, this iconic background? You almost seem like you're getting emotional. Why?
I am. It's just so nice to see it come back because we remember it before. We remember what's gone on.
City leaders encourage folks to come down the iconic Main Street to see it for yourself. This restoration means that the arch will keep welcoming tourists for decades. Reporting in Daytona Beach, I'm your Volusia County community correspondent, Angie Casada, News 6.
Penny.
Chris.
Like how I beckon you, Penny. Do you know what today is?
October 3rd.
It is October 3rd. But do you know why it's important?
Mean Girls.
Mean Girls is always important, but no, we're looking for something different.
Oh, the Taylor Swift album came out today.
Taylor Swift has an album coming out. Now, admittedly, as you know from watching yesterday's show, I am not in the target demographic for Taylor Swift's music. There is no executive at A&R that's like, we really need to market this album to 46-year-old men with 2 kids and a mortgage in Central Florida. But that being said, there are plenty of people who are in her target demographic, and they are excited.
Oh, very excited. The hype has been real leading up to this album.
Are you a Swiftie?
No, not really. And I haven't listened to the new album.
Okay.
Heard mixed reviews.
Yeah, I did too. Now, that's what's weird. Is I've
That's the
had
thing.
a couple people. Yeah, I've had a couple people be like, I don't know, and I'm like, okay, well.
Especially because like Taylor Swift fans, they're like, she does no wrong, best album ever for every album. And so the fact that a lot of the most committed Swifties in my life have been like, oh well, I don't know how I feel about some of the songs. I'm like, oh, what does this album sound like? What is the life of a showgirl?
Glamorous, I would assume. I don't know.
But is the album glamorous? That's the question.
That is the question, but Stephanie Rodriguez will show us in a mere moment. Across the greater Central Florida area, there are activities abound where you can go out and you can trade bracelets. You can share your love for T Swift. You can embrace the music, imbibe the music, as they would say, and just let your Swift flag fly.
Wow.
Here's Stephanie Rodriguez.
Today is Taylor Swift Day here at Oviedo Mall, celebrating the singer's 12th studio album and getting her fans ready to see her brand new movie.
Do you want to give it a try? I got it for you.
Whether it's with a sip of lavender haze lemonade,
Oh, it tastes good.
or making friendship bracelets,
There's going to be friendship bracelet making all day long.
Oviedo Mall will be an enchanted place for Swifties.
We're entering our showgirl era here at the mall and just having a day of fun celebrating the fandom.
From scavenger hunts to karaoke to an outfit contest, it's set to be a bash fit for a showgirl.
I've already pre-downloaded the album.
Robin Pressey is ready to shake it off at the event dedicated to the 35-year-old global phenomenon.
I liked her music, but was never like a huge fan. But you go to her concert, and it was probably the best concert I've ever been to in my life. It's just totally entertaining. And then you read about her and how good she is to her crew, and just, she's just something else. Some stores will also be offering a 13% discount, that's Swift's favorite number, if you show your release party of a Showgirl movie ticket.
Right now for Friday, we know that there's over about 700 sold, and that's just for Friday. We're expecting even more for Saturday and Sunday as the weekend really gets going and people can digest the album.
For more information on Taylor Swift Day, visit clickorlando.com. In Oviedo, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
So
You'll
are
be
you
there,
going to
right?
go? No, I'm not.
Yes!
But will you
No.
go see the movie?
Of course not.
Me neither.
Let's be honest. I come strolling in to the theater,
Mhm.
and they're going to look around. They're going to say, "Well, hold on, this room is packed with all of these Taylor Swift fans." And then there's this gentleman over here who looks like he mistook this event for some sort of Paul Bunyan lookalike contest.
Oh, wow.
The police would get called,
Yeah, you'd get tackled to the ground.
tasered probably.
Yeah.
So no, not going to do that.
But I hope everyone going has fun.
Yeah, I hope so. I did get the Metallica movie when they did their movie Through the Never.
You
That
look
was
like you would
cool.
have, yeah.
That was very cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a different kind of film than the one that I'm sure the Taylor Swift fans will be enjoying this evening.
Or maybe it'll be very similar.
I doubt it. The Through the Never was kind of like a post-apocalyptic thing. They're playing, it's a lot of imagery. It's very dark, very kind of aggressive. I get the impression that her music is, happy. Except for her songs about all of her ex-boyfriends. Those are not as happy.
That was a very 2010 joke.
Wow. Wow, Penny. Unkind.
You started it.
I did start it. Okay. We are wrapping this up. Any big plans for the weekend?
My husband and I are going to go see Smashing Machine tonight, the new Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie that apparently is so good people think The Rock's going to win an Oscar. So I'm really excited to see if he is like the best actor of our generation, and no one knew.
He put on like 35 pounds for this thing.
Yeah, I am excited either way. Do you have any fun plans for the weekend?
We will be putting out all of our spooky decorations this weekend. Do the inside if it's raining on Saturday, and then do the outside on Sunday if the weather improves. But yeah, we got to get the house all ready for Halloween.
Very exciting.
Get it tricked out, and yeah, it'll be good.
Tricked out, treated out.
Yes, exactly. And I love The Rock. I think he does just some. The Other Guys was a funny movie that he was in.
It was a very good movie.
The Jumanji films is great. He's immensely, when you think about like wrestlers that went on to be in films, he's knocking it out of the park. I think John Cena as the Peacemaker is hilarious. So who knew? I guess wrestling's basically acting anyway. So.
It is a lot of them acting, yeah. I'm very, very excited, especially because I have been getting a little bit into wrestling lately. And so I think, don't laugh at me, I think that to see Mr. The Rock, Mr. Johnson, go into a serious role and maybe win an Oscar. That'd be crazy. But if he doesn't win an Oscar, I think the WWE is going to see a lot more of him.
Getting into wrestling, huh?
Yeah.
It's the pageantry of it.
It's fun.
Is it?
I like watching dudes do flips.
You like seeing big dudes in tight spandex, oiled up, just, you go, I'm going to get you in SummerSlam because,
Said none of those words.
It was implied.
Okay, cool. Thanks for catching my meaning.
It's the unspoken.
Mm-hmm.
When you have to, it's like jazz. You hear the notes that aren't being played.
Yeah.
All righty, Penny. Thank you as always
for
all of your hard work. Thank you for the fantastic script that does tell me to say goodbye. So we'll remember to do that. Thanks to you for watching. We'll be back here on Monday to do this all over again. Of course, we'll be on the air today starting at 4 o'clock for News 6. And of course, we break news all the time on clickorlando.com. Have a fantastic, try and stay dry this weekend, but have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Have a good one. Bye.